Hello my sweet friends. So today's video is something a little bit different for my channel, but I thought would be a lot of fun for you guys to get to know me a little bit better. So I figured I would curl my hair and get my hair ready for the day while giving you some random facts about me. That way we can connect and maybe get to know each other a little bit better. I know when you're sharing fashion and lifestyle, there's not like a lot of room for personal stuff, except when you're talking about your body and things. It's very personal, but I'm talking about just things that are like just random about myself. So I thought that would be interesting and I want to share that with you. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Charlie. I love doing plus size fashion, affordable fashion, lifestyle, food, grocery hauls, regular hauls, anything that is pertaining to my life that can make your life a little bit easier. I love sharing. So I think today's video will be a lot of fun, and if it seems interesting, I would love you to stick around and subscribe. And I have been really active on my TikTok, so I'm trying to post on there as well for you guys. So if you want to follow me there, I will leave all of my links down below. So let's get started. So yesterday I just did my roots, so I'm still in the process of toning it a little bit, so there are a little bit of brassiness, so just excuse that if, you know, I can't really help that. I will be toning it a little bit, but when I first dye my hair, I try to be very careful with washing it for the first couple of days and weeks, because it can be very, you know, fragile, and my hair is already quite damaged, especially always going so light for my hair type. I have very, very dark hair naturally, so I try to just gradually tone it with the shampoo that I love. I can actually share that with you if anyone is interested. I will actually link it down below for you. So I'm just going to do my regular curls for you. You might need to be pushed back a little bit, maybe, I don't know. I guess it's really not so much, oops. I suppose it's not so much about the hairstyle. It's more about like chatting with you guys. I just thought this would be easier than like a get ready with me. I don't have to concentrate as much when I'm doing my hair. So I'm just using my Bellamy Graveyard Girl, and this is the smaller of the barrels. I think it's 32 millimeters. I've used this since the day I bought it. I bought it when it launched. I've never used another curler. I love it. And for heat protectant, I use, I don't know the name offhand. I will link it in the description below for you. I do like it. It is a little oily, so you have to be careful. So let's move on. So the very first fact that I want to share with you is that I have a scar on my leg that is about 12 inches. When I was 11 years old, see, I'm gonna get distracted. When I was 11 years old, I fell. I was running at a barbecue at my aunt's house, and they had just got done playing horseshoes, and it was getting dark. It was like dusk, and I wasn't paying attention. I was 11 years old, and I fell over a horseshoe stake. It ripped my leg completely open. I ended up getting 21 stitches. They wanted to fly me to Children's Hospital because they wanted to do plastic surgery and actually stitch inside out, but my mom panicked at the time. My mom is not somebody who could really handle any type of medical crisis at the time. I wish she had, but the scar has become part of my life and I love it. It is quite big on my leg, but it has faded so much over the years that you can barely see it, but it is part of my story and part of my life, and I don't mind the scar, to be honest with you. I'm just going to wrap my hair flat around the barrel and hold it just for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I will hold it just for a second. So the scar doesn't really bother me. I actually love it now. At the time I was very devastated. It happened in the summer, so my entire summer was just a wash. It happened sometime in July that year. And because I had stitches, I couldn't bend my leg. I was in a lot of pain, but you know, it's a big part of my life. So another fun fact about me that's going to be like really lady, I love my favorite style of all time, and I always say that this is what's in my heart, is gothic. I am a gothic person at heart. I think it's the most beautiful. I love Victorian gothic. I love like traditional gothic, pastel gothic, cyber goth. I love it all. I think it's the most beautiful style. I've always been very envious and always admired it, and I've always had such a respect for it. I just think it's so beautiful, and anybody that dresses like that and is confident in that, I think it's amazing. And I love the gothic style. It's one of my favorites. I think it's gorgeous. Just blowing on my curl a little bit. Another weird fact about me, it's very strange, and I'm sorry, some people are gonna be grossed out. I love feet. I love well manicured women's feet. I think it's beautiful. I love looking at pedicures. I love when men have well groomed feet and hands, but I love a good pedicure. I love giving myself pedicures. I do them about every 2 weeks. I love the way it looks when you get a fresh pedicure and your feet look beautiful. I'm just somebody that always notices someone's feet. It's like one of the first things I kind of look at. I know that's kind of creepy, and it's not in like a sexualized way. I just love feet. I always have. I think that they can be beautiful. I've never understood the stigma around people hating feet. Like, I just never understood that. It's just like another part of people's body. I don't understand. It's like hating somebody's arm. It's just weird to me. But yes, I enjoy people's feet. When I was younger, I was obsessed with professional wrestling. My mother took me and my grandfather to a WWF like match. It wasn't like a world wrestling or anything crazy. It was just one of their regular televised things. And I saw The Undertaker. I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin. I saw The Rock, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. I saw them all the popular ones. I was elated. I had beer thrown on me. It was amazing. I loved it. I fell out of watching it just as I got a little bit older, but I was a diehard fan. I never missed any of it, not WrestleMania, not Hell in the Cell. I met, what was his name? McFarley, I think his name was. No, that's not it. I'll put the, maybe up on the screen, but I was a fan of wrestling, and for years I used to get so offended if people said it wasn't real. I loved it. I loved the drama of it. Kane was one of my favorites. I remember watching when they were buried alive. I loved it all, and I was a true diehard fan. So another fact about me is I love to collect sea glass. I have a small collection because since I've moved a little further away from the water, I don't do it as often, but summer nights, me and my daughter would go down to the bay, and it's not as easy as you think to find, and you kind of have to know where to find sea glass. But I love finding Cape May diamonds and sea glass. They're two of my favorite things, and I have a very small collection, and maybe I'll show you if you're interested. I can do it in maybe like a little short, because it's not really worth an entire video about, but I love walking up and down the beach. I have pieces from North Carolina. I have pieces from all over, and I love collecting sea glass. Another thing about me is I love the sound of seashells. It's one of my favorite sounds. Probably growing up at the beach is one of the reasons, but like I love the sound of, like, we have a place called Cold Spring Village, and what it is that we live in in Cape May, it's considered like a historical area where I lived, and they took some of their like older buildings and they put it in this village, and you can walk through and you can see like the old schoolhouse, and they have horses, and I love of like the old schoolhouse, and they have the old blacksmith, and they have the leather maker, and they have the pottery people. It's amazing. They all dress like they are in the 18th century. It's beautiful there. It smells amazing, and they often have horse and buggy rides, and I love the sound of like the wheels turning over the seashells, because it's all broken up seashells, and I love it. Okay, so this one's a weird one, but I am somebody who is literally the biggest Twilight fan. I love it. When I don't feel good, I watch it. When I'm sad, I watch it. When I'm happy, I watch it. I've probably seen the movies and read the books more times than I can count. I've always loved them. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm a huge vampire fan to begin with, and wolves and fantasy. So yes, I am a huge Twilight fan. I've seen all of them. I don't know if I could ever pick a favorite. I think I love the first one the most, is because it's just what introduced me to loving it, and like what got me loving the whole series. But I really love when they get married, the one where they're married. That's one of my favorites, but they're all just so good. They all make me super happy. But I think the original Twilight, just because it got me introduced into it, and I think that's why I have like a special place in my heart for that particular movie and book. Another movie that I absolutely love and will rewatch over and over again, especially, okay, so when I was little, my mother and I would, once in a while, we would go see a movie, and she took me to see The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan, and I was obsessed. I loved the movie. She loved the movie. So anytime I'm kind of missing my mom, I always watch The Parent Trap. So like my family kind of knows when I'm missing my mom because I have The Parent Trap on. I love that it's on Disney Plus. It's one of my favorite movies. I know I'm a grown-up, but I still love it. I think it's just something that is such a classic, and it just will always kind of be like a movie that kind of just never, it's always going to be relevant. I love it. I think it's a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's amazing. It's so much fun, and it's just something special her and I shared, and I think it's like Hannah Montana. She loved the Hannah Montana movie in the series, probably because my little sisters did. So I remember always watching that with them, and it's just a really special memory. Another show that I always obsessively watch is Roseanne. That's something else about me, is that I will watch the same stuff over and over again, to the point where my husband's like, let's move on. It just brings me comfort, and with the show Roseanne, things like that, like Boy Meets World makes me very happy to rewatch. I'll rewatch things like that, especially 90s sitcoms like Full House or Family Matters, Sister, things like that just bring me a lot of comfort. So I end up watching a lot of 90s and 80s sitcom, but Roseanne is definitely my top one that I've watched. I've seen every episode probably 75 times. I can recite almost everything, and my husband and I laugh about it all the time because he loves it just as much, but I don't think anyone's as big of a fan of Roseanne as me. I'm sure there are people out there, but they're definitely my people because I love it so much. Now, something I don't talk about on here because my channel isn't like, I want it to always be kind of like family friendly. I want people to watch it and be comfortable. But in my real everyday life, one thing I do a lot is I have a potty mouth. My mouth is absolutely atrocious. I am working on it. It is a goal of mine to not be as offensive when I curse a lot. I don't say offensive things, but sometimes people find curse words to be offensive. So I am trying very hard not to curse quite as much as I do. And another thing that obviously I've never really talked about because my channel isn't really, as of right now, isn't about this, but I've always been very open with my sexuality, being very honest about it, and I have always been very honest and upfront about my sexuality and being very preparing my children for it. And what made me change was when I was 27, I had a gynecologist appointment, and he knew that I took guardianship of my sisters, and they were young teenagers. And he said, it's never too soon to discuss these things and be prepared and help them. So I've always kind of just been open with that and discussing it with them and my husband. We just have always been very honest and open about that. So I really pride myself on being very open to other people's views and what other people's lifestyles are like. I don't judge anybody, especially because I'm very different as well. So I am very open with my sexuality, and I am working on cursing. Those are two big things. So you might notice, just because they're always in my videos, but I am an animal person. Now, not like, I am an animal person. They are my favorite things to talk about. My three favorite animals that aren't domesticated animals are elephants are one of my absolute favorites. I love whales, any kind of whale. I like orca. Well, orcas I think are considered dolphins, but I love orcas. I love a whale shark. I love the beluga whales, all whales. I love whales. They're one of my favorite animals in the world. And I love turtles. I love big cats. I love everything. There's some animals I don't love as much, like hyenas are a little weird, and zebras, but I love animals so much. They are one of my favorite things, and I go back and forth all the time with getting into the veterinary care, maybe being a vet tech. I love cows. I love all farm animals. I love horses so much. They are one of the most majestic, one of my favorite animals. I love pigs and chickens and cows and lizards, and snakes are one of my favorites. My husband hates snakes. He has such a fear of them, so I've never gotten any type of reptile, but I love reptiles. I love rabbits. Everything you can think of, I love. I think they're amazing. I just really love animals. but most people do. And I don't trust anybody that doesn't like animals. I always find it very strange when people aren't animal people. And I have a friend that's not really like an animal person, and I feel like he's not trustworthy. I'm just kidding. But how can you trust somebody that doesn't like it? I mean, how can you not like animals? It's such a foreign concept to me that people really don't like animals. I'm just going through, I'm not doing like a tutorial or anything. I'm just haphazardly curling my hair. I thought it was just something I could do with you guys. So I had some things I wanted to share some things. So I thought this would be the best way to do it. So the next thing about me, and you might also realize this because I do have a few videos, not many, because it isn't like, I'm not in the booktube community really. I like watching the videos, but that's not really what my channel is about. But I love reading. I've been reading since I was young. My mother was a huge reader, and I've always been into reading. I think I've been reading since I was like in middle school, and all through high school I was a big reader. But now in my life I'm like a major reader. I would love to read more. Through COVID, I was reading like 2 books a week because we had nothing to do, but I try to read a book a week. So I try to do 4 to 5 books a month, and that's like a good month. I really like to get, I still have a lot of things going in my life. I have a teenager, a household. If I was like able to just kind of lounge around and read, like when we were in COVID, of course it would be amazing, but I love reading. And fantasy is my favorite genre, and then like urban fantasy, and then anything like thriller, and then horror I like. Some sci-fi, not a lot, is not always my favorite. It's not like my first pick of genre. My first pick is fantasy. And Sarah J. Maas is one of my favorite authors for that. She is amazing. I absolutely love her. Another one of like my big hobbies, which obvious, is makeup. I love makeup. I love doing makeup. I know that some people don't love it, and sometimes I get comments that my makeup is too much, or I need to blend it, or they don't like my lip liner, and I get it. I do, but I do like it. I love it, and I don't plan on changing the way I do my makeup anytime soon. I never claimed to be a makeup artist or experienced. I've just always worn it since I was a teenager. I've loved makeup. I've always loved it. I don't wear it because I'm insecure, because there's days that I go without it. I won't wear it for my husband. I don't wear it for anybody but myself. I love it. It's like I get up early in the morning. I get up between 6 and 7 o'clock. I have a cup of coffee. I sit with my animals for a few minutes in the morning, and then I set a time. I know not everybody's fortunate enough to be able to do this, but I only have one child. My husband and I decided to only have one child. She's 15, so I have I can say to her, I'm taking 45 minutes to go upstairs and do my makeup, and I know that 45 minutes in the morning is for me. It's like yoga. It's like I can do it. I don't have to think. I can put a podcast on, and I can just do my makeup. Some days I do something very simple, and can be done in 20 minutes. Some days I like to sit there for 2 hours. Like if I have an event, like a wedding or something special, I can sit there for hours. But I can be very fast as well. It just depends. I just love it. It's therapeutic for me. I have a hard time concentrating. It's the only time where I'm like concentrating on one thing. My brain isn't racing. I can shut things off, and I can just enjoy doing my makeup. So it's something that is very therapeutic for me, and I absolutely love it. I understand that it's not for everybody, but I love it, and I have no intention on changing my makeup style. I know sometimes it bothers people, but I personally really, really love it. I often listen to podcasts, and believe it or not, I do love television. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not like a big TV watcher, but I will listen to probably 2 to 3 podcasts, whether it's on YouTube or on like the podcast app or on Spotify. I love podcasts. Now, of course, I love true crime. That's probably my favorite, but I also love comedies. I love ones about like sex and funny things like that. I love them when they just tell stories. I listen to every type of podcast, but one of my favorites is like Morbid, Inhuman, all those podcasts. I love Kendall Ray's, what the heck is the name? Mile Higher, maybe. I love all of them. I love Shane's. I'm so glad he's back doing podcasts, because back in the day I used to listen to them religiously. So I'm somebody who really, really loves podcasts. I'm also, I think I already said this, but I am somebody who loves the fantasy genre. I love watching like Game of Thrones, 1883. I consider that a Western, but a little bit of fantasy. Obviously Twilight is my number one favorite in the whole world. Things like that. I am a big fantasy reader. Some of my favorite fantasies are the Sarah J. Maas Court of Thorns and Roses series. Her other series I can't think of off the top of my head. I love the Twilight series. I love the Jack the Ripper series. That one is incredible. And then I also love the Cursor series, the one that is like the Beauty and the Beast retelling. I will link these books down below because I'm drawing a blank for the names of them, but I will link all of my favorite fantasy books down below for you guys. So this is a weird one, but I just thought I'd throw it in here. I have been married my entire adult life. I met my husband right around, like, I had just turned 18. We got married very fast. It's a long story. Thank God we're still married 16 years later, but it wasn't easy. I've been married since I was 18, so it's hard, and it's a blessing and a curse, I should say. I don't know how to say it without it sounding terrible, but it's a blessing, but I feel like sometimes it's my whole identity, and it's like you don't get one without the other, and we've become like this one morphed person, because like my sisters don't know anything other than my husband, because they were only 4 and 5 when I met him, and my grandparents have been with him forever, and they practically raised him. And my mom, when she was alive, she was obsessed with him. She loved him so much, and it's like it's my whole life is been with him, and I've never been single as an adult. And while I love it, it can be very challenging, and we have to work on our marriage all the time. We have to keep things alive, and we have to improve and communicate, because if we don't, if we don't, it's not gonna work, because being married for 16 years is a blessing, and some people aren't lucky enough to even make it a couple of years. It can be very difficult, and I feel like while our marriage is not perfect, we have really found some things that just really work well for us. So some of my dream places to visit is going to be New Orleans. That is number one. I want to go fishing down in New Orleans with my husband. We want to visit places down there. We want to go to New Orleans so bad. We also want to go to Portland, Oregon. Well, I do. And I would absolutely love to go to Seattle, Washington. I want to visit Maine. I also want to go to Nevada. I have so many places, but my top 3 is Louisiana. My top 3 is Louisiana, Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. Those are my 3 places that I just feel like I belong and I want to go bad. I have had guardianship of my sisters for about 7 years, but I had been raising them almost their entire life. My mom passed away in 2015, and I took legal guardianship of them. They were both very young, but I had already had my one youngest sister living with me. She's lived with me since she was about 11, 12, and then my middle sister came and lived with us, and it was very difficult to say the least, but it has definitely prepared me very well for raising a teenager now. I had no idea what I was doing at 27. I was a child myself practically, and we had no money at the time. It was very difficult. We are in a much better place in our lives now, and we are all very close, but it is not easy having to be a sister and a parental figure at the same time, because it's hard to discipline your sisters. So I have about 3 more things that I'm going to tell you because I'm almost done here, and they're just silly things. I still sleep with my baby blanket. Yes, I do. I'm 33 or 34. I don't know how old I am. 34, I think. And I still sleep with my baby blanket. Yes. The one that I got when I was in the hospital. I don't care. I can't sleep without it. And fun fact also, most of the women in my family are the same way. I don't know what it is about it. We all have something we sleep with. It's very strange. My aunt is in her 50s and she still sleeps with her fumfit or whatever she calls it. I call mine a babby. She calls hers a fumfit, and my sister calls hers a blanket, I think. I'm not sure exactly. I love the smell of paper. I absolutely love, love, love the smell of paper. I just have to let these cool for a minute, and then I'll rake my fingers through them and make sure all is curled. And last but not least, I hate the rain. I don't like it. So I don't know why I would ever want to go to like Seattle, Washington, but I just do. But I don't like the rain. It puts me in a bad mood. I love the sunshine. I love warm weather. I love the wind, but I love the sun. The sun is what makes me super happy. I thrive when it's sunny out. I don't do well in the rain. I just don't like it. I don't feel like, oh, it's cozy and cute. I'd rather have snow, anything. I just don't like gloomy days. I hate it, and it seems to just rain a lot this year, and I think it just puts me in a crappy mood. So these are my curls. Like I said, I dyed my hair last night, and I cut off about 4 inches. I took off quite a bit of hair last night. I just cut my own hair. I don't trust anybody because I just, about every 8 weeks, I just take off about 4 inches. My hair grows super duper fast, and it never seems like I cut it, but I do. I cut it every I cut it every 8 weeks. And I took off about, I'm gonna say about that much. It seemed like a lot, but now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't look like I cut anything off of it. So this is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed hearing some of these silly facts about me. They weren't, I know most people do like 50 facts. I know most people do like around 50 facts, but I think that's just a little too much. I also couldn't come up with 50 different things. I mean, I'm sure I could have, but they would have been kind of silly at that point. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I will link some of my social media down below for you guys, and I will see all of my lovely friends in the next video. Bye, guys.